In TypeScript, we have a new type called any, which can represent any kind of values. So if we declare a variable and don't initialize it, the TypeScript compiler assumes this variable is of type any. So we can set it to a number, and then later on we can set it to a string. But this is against the whole idea of using TypeScript, because we use TypeScript for its type safety, so we get type checking. So if we use the any type, we essentially lose that feature and the major benefit of using TypeScript. So as a best practice, you should avoid using the any type as much as possible. Let's look at another example. Let's say we have a function called render that takes a document and simply renders it on the console. Now look, we have a compilation error, and the error is saying parameter document implicitly has an any type. Implicitly means we haven't explicitly or clearly set the type of this parameter. So the compiler is inferring or guessing the type of this parameter. And that's why we have this error. Now, let's say this is part of a JavaScript project we're trying to convert to TypeScript. And at this point, it's impossible for us to explicitly annotate this with a particular type. So we have to use the any type here. Now here we have two options. To turn off this error, one option is to annotate this with any. So we're telling the compiler, hey, I know what I'm doing. The document is of any type. But what if we have tons of errors of this kind? We don't want to go to every function and explicitly annotate various parameters with any. Well, there is a nuclear option for that, but I don't personally recommend that. But let me show you how that works. So let's remove the annotation. Now, if you're on Mac, press Command and P. If you're on Windows, press Control and P to bring up the search box and go to tsconfig.json. Now look, in the type checking section, strict is turned on, and this is equivalent to turning on some of the basic type checking features. You will learn about these settings as we go through the course. Now, the first setting you see here is no implicit any. So let's remove the comment. So if this feature is turned on, the compiler will complain about implicit any types. Now, let's turn this off and see what happens. So back in index.ts, the error is gone. So use this with caution only if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, there's really no point using TypeScript because you will lose the major benefit of TypeScript, okay? So back to tsconfig, I'm going to revert this code. Good. So that's all about the any type. Next, we're going to talk about arrays.